In this video, I will answer a couple of frequently asked questions about deep learning approaches for tissue image analysis. Hi, I'm Alexandra Żurew and I'm here to help you do better digital pathology. So if you're interested in that and want to learn every week, be sure to subscribe, click the bell below and be notified every time I release a new video. This video is part of a webinar I gave for the C.L. Davis Foundation as a part of a one-day paid event. I was honored to be a speaker at this event, and these are the questions that my audience asked me at the end of the webinar. If you're interested in the full webinar, there's going to be a link in the description below, and there's also going to be a playlist that has all the videos from this webinar. So let's see what are the most frequently asked questions and what are the answers. And if you have any other questions than my listeners at that webinar, be sure to comment below and let me know what these are.
And now I want to go to the chat and see, and the questions and answers first. Are most of those applications based on Python? Do you feel it is helpful to all to try to learn some coding ourselves? Of course, never at the required level to actual development. I don't code. I don't have the ambition to learn coding. I do have the ambition to understand the principles of what's happening, because Python, okay, it's one of the programming languages. There's C++, which another the software company I worked before was built in C++. So these are building blocks for tools. And you can either build the tool using this language, or you can basically give the instruction in this language. I don't want to have to give instructions in this language, but if somebody likes that, I don't think it's a bad idea. I also cannot say if it's going to help you understand something better or not, because I'm not doing it. And my approach is, okay, what are the underlying both computer vision and like translating pathology into this so that I can build this bridge and can focus on pathology. I do not know if this is going to increase your understanding. Maybe it will. So I cannot answer this question, really. I hope this comment was satisfactory. I have another question in the chat. How can one use AI effectively? So the use of AI is driven by what you want to do with it. So you identify your problem, and then you identify a tool. And so how do you evaluate this tool? First, something that is important for me, do I like working with this tool? There's always a learning curve. How steep of a learning curve am I willing to travel, or I don't know, hike this steep learning curve mountain to be able to fully utilize this tool? Given a pathologist workload, I would not want it to be too steep. I would want it to be pathologist friendly. And this is an area we're going back to. If it's supposed to be pathologist friendly, we have to be involved in developing this, because how is somebody who's not a pathologist are going to make something pathologist friendly for us? They don't know what we're doing. They don't know like how a pathologist workflow looks like. How do we want to look at the slide? Where is it intuitive to click? So there are initiatives already ongoing. Many pathologists are involved, but I think more should be involved. Like everyone who uses this tool can be involved at this moment. So this is how we can use it effectively. Identify the problem, identify the tool that works for us. And if it's at most of those tools, you will be close. You can, if you want to, and if you develop this relationship, work closely with the developers of this tool. So if you commit yourself to something that's already working okay, and you think, okay, maybe if I work with this team that is making this tool, we can make it even better, you are able to contribute to that at the moment. Yeah. Can AI be used in a GLP environment? Yes, it can be used. It can be used if you validate it appropriately. How to validate it is a topic for a totally different talk, and I think different crowd. I'm not a regulatory expert, but I know Vanessa is a part of groups that are talking about validating different digital pathology and the AI tools, and there are groups of people who are working with the regulators in veterinary pathology to build the bridge between us and the regulators, because this is another bridge that we have to build to be able to bring innovation tool into our practice. And I think there are even a couple of papers coming out in this special ToxPath issue about digital pathology. I think that's it. And what would be the acceptable sensitivity specificity for AI? So this is also like for any test. Your intended use decides what your metrics are. And sometimes it can be, you can optimize for one metric and the other one can be just 50-50. Let's say, I don't know, for a screening test, you don't need to be, and now I'm going to my acronym again. Now to roll out, sensitivity should be high, and spin to roll in, specificity for a diagnostic. So sensitivity for a screening test, you optimize for sensitivity. You basically look what your intended use is and see how much error can you afford and on which side can you afford to be wrong. So again, for a screening test, you should not have any false negatives because you send a sick person home. For a diagnostic test, you should not have, you have to optimize for both, but let's say you should not have a false positive person who gets a very invasive treatment when they don't have the disease. And yes, in our ToxPath world, false negatives are, this is something you don't want to have. And so again, intended use guides your metrics and guides what you accept, what kind of performance you strive for. And if we don't have any more questions, I'm just gonna thank you all very much. I already answered the questions. I want to thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to you again and be in the crowd of those great digital pathology leaders that are presenting today. And thank you to the foundation for organizing this event again.
If you're still watching, you might be waiting for your question to be answered. So obviously it wasn't asked yet. So go ahead, write in the comments, ask it in the comments. I'd be more than happy to answer it for you. And I talk to you in the next episode.